Alright, today's lab is called the Precipitate lab. First off, we're going to use some key ingredients. We have baking soda, calcium chloride, water, we have a graduated cylinder, and spoons. So, the way we're going to demonstrate this, first off, Mr. Varela has already taken 20 milliliters of water and put them into our two beakers. So they both have 20 milliliters of water in them. Now, our next step, we're going to take the baking soda. There's going to be a half teaspoon of baking soda placed into one of the beakers. Mr. Varela is going to start stirring this to make sure that all the baking soda dissolves. Now, as he's doing this, Mr. Varela, do you feel any change in the temperature?
Yes, Mr. Masters. The temperature is actually getting a lot colder with the baking soda mixed with water.
Okay. So we have a temperature change where it was at room temperature and now it's at a colder temperature. All right. Now we're going to take a half a teaspoon of calcium chloride. Okay. I'm going to place it into the other beaker. And Mr. Varela will begin stirring this as well. And we want to make sure that it all dissolves. Alright, do you feel anything going on with this one, Mr. Varela?
Yes, Mr. Masters. I can feel the temperature getting a little bit more warmer as I'm stirring and dissolving the calcium chloride.
And you may not be able to see it, but there is some steam and condensation that is forming around the edge of the beaker.
Oh, it's getting a lot warmer as it dissolves.
Alright, now for our next step, Mr. Varela is going to take the beaker with the water and baking soda in it, and he's going to pour it into the beaker with the calcium chloride and water. However, he is not going to let any of the residue from the baking soda get into the beaker. We're going to start to watch what happens. As you can hear, there's fizzing, there's bubbles being formed, it's foaming, and Mr. Varela is going to fill the beaker to see if there's a temperature change. Now remember, we had a hot and a cold that's mixed together. Mr. Varela, does it feel hot, cold, or room temperature?
Feels room temperature.
Room temperature. Alright. So we're going to let this sit for a minute. And we want to see if there's anything else that forms from this reaction. Alright, Mr. Varela is going to hold this up, and he's going to place it a little bit underneath one of the lights from the ceiling, and we're going to see if there's anything forming towards the bottom.
It's white film.
Alright, so Mr. Varela has stated that there is a white film slightly underneath the mixture. If you kind of look in, let's try to zoom in on that. If you see down at the bottom, you can see a white film ever slightly forming at the bottom. This is what we call a precipitate. It is a solid that is formed at the bottom of a container when two liquids were mixed together. Alright, sorry you couldn't be here for the actual lab, but we hope this will do.